Hello and welcome back to Haven and Hearth. So it has been a few days since my last recording. We are well into winter now, 23rd day of the 6th month. So winter lasts from the 15th of the 6th month to the 30th of the 6th month, and then it goes back around to the 1st month and we're in spring again. So if I step outside here, you can see as soon as it loads there's a decent amount of snow. We've got some snow out here. Of course, we've got our big areas that are non-snow, protected by our mound, and a little bit that's technically protected by our chicken coop here. Any sort of active, like either chicken coop or rabbit hutch will keep snow around it melted slightly. I am out of the little toy chariots. I used up the last of those. I do need to refill our chicken coop here, though, so we're going to have to do something about that. Let me just kind of grab those two out because we don't need them. I'll go ahead and grab out that. Let's take care of these two real quick. Then we've got that egg. We're going to need to refill both the water and that. Let's see, what's the water on here like? 24? We can just put more 24 in then. Let's get that taken care of. Looks like I do have some more crops to harvest, which is good. That is, after all, the reason why we made the mound. Our mound has not yet produced new blueberries, so hopefully that'll happen soon. Let's just get some water in here, and then we can start worrying about the swill, as it were. Let's just kind of put this back. Okay. And I do kind of want to keep the quality up a bit. Let's see what we've got in the line of seeds. Not much on the hemp, although I could go and do that. I don't want to do this yet because I actually need millet. How is our barley doing here? We could grab some barley. Not quite enough flax. Unless we're ready to harvest, we're not. Okay. We could grab some of that. That would work. Quick check on our larger animals. They look fine. I think the amount of feed is probably still fine there, too. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, we still got like half the trough, so that should be several more days before I have to worry about that. Alright, let's go grab our bucket and put away the dead chickens that we can take care of later. I have a whole bunch more halloumi because I was, in fact, farming that up. No more room in there. Yeah, we can shove this random egg in there. That's good. Alright, let's get our bucket. Oh, this one. This one's empty. I think there's actually going to be more halloumi waiting when I go up to check it, too, because I went ahead and, I had basically swapped it out for more. I think today we're probably going to want to make some different cheese, which means we're going to have to build a new rack. And of course there is something else going on. Let's just go ahead and get this put into the chicken coop really quick before I go into that. Because that is something we've been waiting on. There's also some work I've done in between. I wasn't just sitting idle doing nothing these days. So, alright, let's dump you in there. That should be most of it, I think. Yeah, that's most of the way full. Plenty. Alright, I'll hang out of the bucket because I'm probably going to go ahead and harvest some of this stuff. But I do want to show some other things that I've done. Just to kind of get that out of the way. So I'm going to go down into the mines here. And as you can see, I have gone ahead and basically marked down where I'm going to put the palisade for the most part. I haven't quite gotten this side yet. I'm still kind of looking at that a little bit. I do need to mine out a little bit more of this stuff because I'm kind of out, having put it down as far as I have. But that's where I'm going to put the palisade. That's where we're going to kind of keep things underground here. Obviously, I'm going to have to clear out all this rock and the tin and all that sort of stuff. But that will be our area here. We will, of course, have to put down a new claim down here, which will, produce another one of these Bond of Blood and Soil. I'll just end up sticking it in there. I'll probably end up doing that off screen because while I have the learning points to do so now, that is about to change. Because if you see, I have 159,753 learning points. Druidic Rite, which we have been waiting for, is 150,000. We're going to buy that right now. And the reason we bought this is multifold. But as you can see, you enjoy the greatest possible yields when farming, gardening, planting trees, and unraveling silk cocoons. Now, I'm not doing the silk thing anytime soon, but it means that when I go to harvest, our crops, like I was just about to, I will now get more yield out of it. When our blueberries are eventually ready, I will get more yield out of it, because that counts as gardening. And it said yield on the trees, but what it really means is I have the greatest chance of successfully planting. So there is a whole process, which I think I will get to once we're into spring proper, but where you basically take one of these pots. Again, I will go and show the pot because I have some. Alright, so I've got these pots. The tree planter pot, you put 4 soil into it, you put in 1 liter of water, and then you put in the tree seed. And there are different types of things that count as trees, even though they're not. Like, for example, we have somewhere, I specifically saved, the ghost pipes that we've been using for curiosities to get learning points. These count, the ghost pipe that you pick them off of counts as a tree. So does the poppy caps, which are also another curiosity. As we raise the quality of it, the amount of learning points will go up, but the study time, mental weight, and experience cost won't. Basically making them better curiosities as we go, and completely renewable because all we'll have to do is then just wait for the new ones. Basically wait for it to regrow. Nice little process. We'll get started on that part probably once we have the basement ready. Once we have that mine level secured and under claim, we will start making some higher quality ghost pipes and poppy caps. Obviously, there are actual trees. This is how you get the higher quality trees. Now, the thing is so you end up putting all of that stuff into this tree planter pot. So the quality of the pot matters, the quality of the soil matters, the quality of the water matters, and then in order to have it actually sprout, you have to leave it on one of these herbalist tables. Which, as you can see, I've got a bunch of dried bat wings on. I should try to remember that I have that. The quality of the herbalist table also matters. So those will all drag the quality of the tree, which obviously the seed quality matters as well, but that's kind of where it starts, and then it'll get dragged up or down depending on the quality of all of those materials used. So you basically want to be able to get your highest quality in all of those things to make the tree quality go up, which of course you can use for other things, like fuel and stuff in order to make other things go up. The wood can be used to make higher quality herbalist tables, things of that nature. it's basically part of the general quality spiral is simply making, you know, making tree number go up makes so many other things go up. And part of making the tree number go up is also getting higher quality fine fibers, such as hemp or the flax. So getting these at a bigger number can help drag it above the wood again. So it all comes back to farming. Farming is your primary means of raising quality of most things. Because even the metal, even when we go and smelt metal, we're using, fuel, which, it's the charcoal, so it ends up coming from the wood, which, can be raised through farming. All of that comes right back to that, and of course, in just about everything, higher quality is better. You want the higher quality in just about everything. There's a few things where it doesn't matter, and there are an exceedingly small number of things where it is detrimental, but that usually just kind of comes as a trade-off. So they're not normal. All right, I'm going to finish harvesting this, and our barley, I think, is ready as well. And then I will come back and we will move forward with the rest of what we're doing today. Alright, I haven't actually gotten to the barley yet, but I finished getting the hemp all harvested and replanted. There is a lot of hemp, and more importantly, the Druidic Rite we just got gave me a lot of seeds. As you saw, my inventory was about half full with seeds. The bucket is completely full. Even after replanting, the bucket is full, and I still have one full stack of hemp seeds left in my inventory, which, there usually would have been like a couple of stacks in there initially, and it wouldn't have been enough to replant. So that is a major boost to the amount of seeds we're getting out of this, which of course can eventually get used as swill, or if we want to expand, we can of course plant them that way. But we now have a large enough amount of hemp seeds that it's not going to be a big deal if we decide, hey, let's just feed it to the animals. And hopefully, when this millet is done, we'll see something similar, because I've been way behind on that. And this is our highest quality crop at the moment at 120. So being able to use that to drag up the quality of other things is going to be important. But all right, on to getting the barley all harvested here. So I will do that. And once again, be back once this boring old process is all done. Alright, I am back. I have finished harvesting and replanting all the barley. We are just shy of a full bucket left, as far as seeds go, so that's good. We're going to go ahead and just kind of dump these in with the other seeds. They're all the same quality. No problems there. Now, we are left with a little bit of a question, because we have a lot of hemp now. So the question becomes, what do we do with all this hemp? We've got a lot of it. We need to do something with some of it, at least. Well, I've got a plan. Because you see, we are, in fact, running a little low on curiosities. Obviously, we've still got plenty of stuff from the mines. I will end up replacing the little ceramic red chariot things when the snow clears, and I'll be able to go find that particular type of clay again. And of course, we've got our poppy flowers, which we've been growing and growing. All good things, but we do have basically a lot more attention we could be giving to it. We're using 11 as it is, 28 is our current cap. So we do need to put some more curiosities in. And this is where some of this hemp is going to go. I'm going to grab 2 full stacks, and I'm just going to turn it into cloth. That's just that simple. It's going to get turned into cloth. And then we can use the cloth to make some curiosities. So craft, processing and materials, sewing and fabric, hemp cloth. Here we go, craft all. And we're just going to let that, and we'll see how many we have when we are done. So I'll let this stuff process and be back once it's finished. Alright, we are currently crafting the last piece, and while I went into this saying, yes, we need more curiosities, there is one other thing I would like to make, and I just kind of want to get that out of the way before we basically burn the rest of this into curiosities. Let's see, how much did we get? We got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15? That's not bad. Alright, so we're going to go Symbol and Tableware. We're going to come over here to Table Linens and Cloth, and I'm going to make a hemp tablecloth. It takes 5, so it's a decent amount. That's kind of why I was like, let me do that before we get into doing all the, other things. So, alright, we got that. I'm going to go put that on the table. That will reduce the amount of hunger we gain from things by 15.9%. And by that, I mean this hunger level right here. The satiety is what it actually is affecting. You notice mine's kind of high because I've been trying to get my stats up. Some of the stone needed higher strength for me to actually break. So I was kind of trying to bring my other stats up along with it as best I could. So I ended up getting quite a bit of the satiety, which is not good for continuing to raise the stats. So preventing that from going up as quickly in the future, generally a good idea. And all we got to do is just come over here, and this has its own little special spot off to the side there. We just click it in, and there we go. We've got this nice green tablecloth. I could do that with linen. I could do that with wool. I think the wool ones are technically better, but I think we're going to end up with higher quality out of the hemp at the moment. Hemp and linen are the same in this particular regard, with wool being slightly higher quality, or higher hunger reduction as a base. But higher quality means it can take damage more often, and it does go up from the base. So I don't exactly know which one would be better. I wouldn't know unless I actually made one. But for now, I think that the hemp will do. On to the next few things we're going to do. So we're going to go over to, we're going to see, go back up, and curiosities. This particular one, now, I'm going to show you something here in Rite and Ritual. We could make Seer's Stones. That takes cloth and stone and the little dreams, which we would, basically get from these dream catchers. So we get that as much as we want. It's 4,500 learning points. That's not bad. Study time 3 days, 6 hours. So just about, just a little over 1 per real world day. That's not bad. Experience cost 30. Not great, but, it would be workable. Mental weight 20. Even if I were to make one of these, I can't study it right now because I don't have enough spare mental weight. Our max is 28, and we're currently using 11. So we can't do that one. What we will do instead is go over here to Decoratives and go Bouquet of Flowers. That takes any cloth, 2 string, which, hey, we still got more of this hemp, and 6 of the flowers, which is, of course, a curiosity on its own in most cases. Most of the things that do that. So let's see, we've got 10 left, so we're going to want 20 of these hemp fibers. Let's see here. 4, 8. That's 16, so 4 more. There we go. Excellent. All right. And of course, we're just going to use the poppies because we've been growing them, but I could use dandelions, I could use anything that counts as a flower. And of course, we're going to do a quick comparison, because in general, these aren't great. It's just going to be said. So I'm going to look over here. We're going to pull up a poppy flower. 2,191 at this quality. Study time 2 days, mental weight 1, experience cost 3. That's not bad. Of course, we're going to look over here. Now, this is going to be if it was quality 10. 2,000, 2 days, 6 hours, mental weight 6, experience cost 25. It's not a great curiosity. That experience cost really hits it hard. Now, obviously, the learning points will go up, but that mental weight, not great either. But it is a separate curiosity from the poppies that it's made of. So we're going to go ahead and make a few just to basically get ourselves more learning points faster is basically what this is. We're sacrificing the actual, efficiency for speed is ultimately what we're doing here. As you can see, it ends up being 3,500 at the quality we've managed. So it's not too bad, especially when you compare it to the 2,000. We're burning through 6 of these to make 1, so it still isn't great. But, it is what it is. Do I have enough? I don't know that I have enough. Oh, wait a minute. I might just have enough. Yes. Okay. I know I've got some in there. These are most of the way through a crop, so I'm not too concerned about having the additional poppies on hand. But hey, now we've got 10 bouquets to run through as additional curiosities. So let's go get that queued up. Let's go ahead and pop one straight in. Study. There we go. And then we'll put the rest in the study desk. And be ready for more. This will also kind of give us an opportunity to see how much space is left. See, I've got 5 more of those poppies in there, so that'll last us a little bit. Alright, on to the next. What is the next, you say? Well, the next is something else that uses more of this hemp, because we still have a ridiculous amount of it. Well, we're going to go back up here, and then we're going to go to our dolls and figurines, and we're going to make more straw dolls, because we have a lot of straw as well. And the straw dolls are just string and straw. Hey, there we go. Let's go ahead and just see. I think 7 will do, so I'll need 14. Is that 14? Let's see. 4, 8. Yes. No, that's 18. Hang on. That's 18. That's too much. Nope, you're doing that, aren't you? Alright, well, let's... Wait, do that. Get over there. Go in. There we go. Alright, 14. And I could use this stuff. I'm going to use the stuff over here because I've got 3 piles of this stuff. And I really don't want to have 3 piles of this stuff. And we're just going to hit craft all. We're going to start by just going ahead and studying the first one. I probably could have done more of this. This is just going to fill half my inventory roughly. There we go. A whole bunch of 44 quality straw dolls. I've been making these. They're, even at this quality, they're not even 2,000 learning points. But the experience cost is only 8. So these are a little bit better, especially since they're 13 hours on their things. So you're getting multiple of these a day. I could probably make a whole lot more. The only problem is the space in the learning desk. Or in the study desk. So I've been going through these in particular quite a bit. But I figured I'd go ahead and show it since we're just kind of going through... figuring out what curiosities could actually, be used on things. Of course, there is also the feather duster, but I've gone ahead and depleted quite a bit of my feathers. There are, of course, like the chickens that we just, killed, but not enough quality. And the feather duster also is middle of the road, because look, it's like 800 as the base. And yeah, it's only 6 experience points and 4 mental weight, but it's like a day and a half. It's like over a day on the study time, whereas like the straw doll here is even the straw doll is a touch more learning points, less time, and yeah, the mental weight is higher, but the experience cost is still roughly the same. I mean, the difference between 6 and 8. So the straw dolls are just a better, a better curiosity, and in addition, the straw doll uses more of the string, but the feather duster uses 5 feathers. So it's like that's much slower to get than the straw. So, all right, what else do we need to do? That's a good question. And it's one I don't immediately have an answer to, so I'll be back when I have an answer. All right, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I do have an answer. I did mention that I had been making more cheese. Well, the halloumi is ready again, and I think we're going to take this opportunity to make a different kind of cheese. Rather than build a new rack, I'm just going to take this one outside and kind of set it here next to the door. Do I want it right next to the door, or do I want it out slightly further? You know what, right there's fine. All right, so first I need to empty these trays, so slice up the cheese. There we go. We have a whole bunch of that. I don't need a whole lot more halloumi because I've been making a lot of it. But, and especially since it doesn't stack. That's annoying. It doesn't stack, but it's also okay. But we're going to come over here and we are going to refill these trays with more of the sheep curd. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we should be able to fill 2 of these. And we should be able to get a couple more here. And fill the 3rd tray. All right, so this time, instead of letting this age indoors, we are going to let this age outdoors. Because there are 4 locations for aging cheese: indoor, outdoor, cellar, and mine. We're not quite ready for the mine yet because we don't have that area protected. But our outdoor is perfectly fine. And of course, our cellar, we need to get some hard metal before we can even make that. So that will be there. That will age. I think this is actually a faster age. Let me actually, I think I still have the page open. Let me look. All right, cheese. We're not going to do that. Cheese, sheep curd, outside, pecorino. And this should, at a base, have 4 strength, 6 charisma, which are things that, we kind of need. It's only going to produce 2 from each tray rather than the 3 like the halloumi, but, it'll be good. We can't make feta yet because that needs the cellar. We could theoretically make the abbey, which is int and perception, but again, like I said, the mine isn't protected. This is saying it'll take 37 hours to make the pecorino, unlike the 44 that it takes for the halloumi. So that will hopefully be good. And we have pretty much run ourselves out of episode length. What did we do today? Of course, the big thing was the Druidic Rite. We got that. We started harvesting stuff. We're getting a whole bunch more from stuff now. That is good. It is winter. So, I do want to do one thing before we go. I'm going to click the dig button, and I'm going to dig the snow. Because I want to discover the snow. There we go. All right. You get a whole bunch of additional things here. So let's see. Kick sled, igloo sleigh, fruit sorbet, cold compress, snowball, and wilderness skis. So let's just kind of look real quick here. Snowball is a curiosity. It is a terrible curiosity. It's only 125 and it takes 2 snow. It costs 8 XP, so it's not great at all. There is, of course, the cold compress, which is for concussion and swollen bump. 3 snow, a fabric, and a string. Obviously, we're only really going to be able to use that during the winter. Do I have a bump at the moment? I do, so I'll probably make one and go ahead and, take care of that. We'll do that off camera, though. You know how to use medications at this point. Food, fruit sorbet. This is why I wanted to do it, because intelligence +2, charisma. And our stats at the moment, our intelligence is actually our lowest stat. Charisma is not the highest, so if it dings charisma instead of int, that's fine, at least for a few times. So we'll be able to do that, get our int up. Again, more stuff I'll probably end up just doing off camera, so not too big a deal. Alright. Snow, Druidic Rite. We made a bunch of curiosities. All just kind of stuff that you kind of gotta, do to just kind of keep going. I don't know. I'll figure out an episode for the title, a title for the episode. Sometime after I finish recording, which is now. That is going to do it for this episode. So, until next time, have a good one.